Hey, hi, what's up? I'm back. So I'm gonna go ahead and re-record this because your boy messed up. I had originally recorded this like a week or so ago now, and when I was going in and editing it and chopping up the whatever music video, the deja vu music video, or the breakdown videos, you know what I mean. When I was going in and chopping all of those up, I realized that I messed this up. Um, I went to go edit this one, and I accidentally saved it as something else and saved it as the same file, hit delete, and then I was using that file as a source file, and it kind of messed everything up. So now I just don't have it at all. So now we got to redo this. So this isn't a first time reaction since I've released it or anything like that. I've obviously listened to it before, but it had been like 6 months, and now I put a few things together in the last video, so you're not going to get that, but you at least get the lyrical breakdown and the story and all that with it. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump on into it. After you know the vibes. Come on now, we gotta roll the intro. So go ahead and roll the intro.
A Sean Childers production.
All right, now, as always, I got to shout out one album that was very influential to me during that time, during this whole, I guess, the whole context of the album, just what was influential in the production, all that other stuff. And there were very few albums that were as influential production-wise as Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight by Travis Scott. Fun fact for you, in the context of this story, I actually haven't bought this album now twice because I got pissed off at the whole Travis Scott and Astroworld Fest thing, and I burned my album because I was pissed. I burned my vinyl. I burned the Astroworld one, and I burned the Birds in the Trap one. So this is the second copy of it that I have. But well, I don't really listen to Travis a whole lot anymore. I did listen to him a lot back then, and it was just because I was on my stoner shit. I was really, really on my stoner shit. Like, if this tells you anything, there was one year, I want to say it was 2020 or 2021, where SDP Interlude was my top listened to song. Like, dude, I was on one. So yeah, it's a good album. You should go check, or yeah, it's a pretty good album. You should go check it out. Go listen to it. Tell me what you think. I enjoy it. As far as trap music goes, it's probably about as good as you're gonna get, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a pretty solid album. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into Man on the Mirror, and here we go.
Mirrors all around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. Mirrors all around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. After reflecting on the parallels and seeing the path that I took to a pair of hells, now I can see where I fell victim to the fear I felt and let it get the best of me for over a year. And that's when you texted me. I finally get the message I've been waiting for all this time, back when I wanted you more than I wanted to die. That shit, it kept me alive, and now closure's coming to the start of the story, poetically purged through all these rhymes. I'll never forget how I felt when you hit me up trying to apologize about how slow you replied. I sat asking if this was love or if this was fate, cause she really listened to me, but it was too little too late. I'd already come to terms with the truth, no longer hidden behind the masquerade of the lies generated by my motherfucking brain. Still, what if this is too good for someone like me?
Okay, so this song is, I mentioned this in the Better Off Alone music breakdown. This is one of my favorites on the album. And I think a lot of the reason why is just because the whole story, I feel like, comes in here and is just glued together. And this is like the bookend of it all. Like, this is the end of the story for the most part. And the next three songs on it, I've already done those breakdowns. Like I said, this is the redo of this one, but I really realized there that the next part is more or less me dealing with the aftermath of it. It's kind of like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the post-credit scene, I suppose. Um, but yeah, this one I think is really well written, in my opinion. I think the flows on it are really good. Now, jumping into the lyrics and the chorus and whatnot, it's obviously a little out of key. At some point, I plan on going back in and redoing all of this and actually singing this in key, because I think that these songs are so good and so well written. They're just a few things that are holding it back from, I think, being a really fucking good, like really fuck, like up here. And that's one of them is the fact that some of the singing is out of key. But it starts off with mirrors all around me. The answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I got to start with the man in the mirror. This is me pretty much saying, like, I'm realizing now that I'm the problem. I'm the source of all of this misfortune, all of this unhappiness in my life. This is coming off of Deja Vu, where I'm in that song. It's a lot about realizing the error in my ways and realizing the parallels between the path of Claire and the path of Ivy. And this one is more about me deciding and understanding fully that, like, I was the root of that. How I let them treat me is exactly how I was being treated. I was okay with that. I was putting myself in a position for somebody to take advantage of the fact that I was just offering attention without ever getting anything in return. And that was on me. That was something I needed to learn. So now I'm sitting here realizing, like, oh, okay, if I want things to get better, I've got to get better. And that's pretty much a majority of what this album is about. And like one of the main themes in the album is that realization. And it's me going through the struggle and then realizing at the end, like, I'm the reason I'm going through this struggle, and I'm taking that accountability, and I'm taking that and moving forward. Now, obviously, with the next few songs, you can see that it doesn't quite go that way in a linear fashion. However, here you kind of begin to see that it's like, okay, here we are. Like, I'm understanding this now. I'm putting this together in a way. I'm starting to understand that, like, oh, 2 plus 2 is equaling 4 now. And holy shit, like, this is on me. All of it's on me. Um, and not necessarily all of it as in like their actions and whatnot, but what I'm saying is that their actions and my actions, how I responded to that needs to change in the context of my own. So one thing that I noticed straight away as well, I'll hang on, put a pin in that. I'll get back to this here later. Because there's something that I kind of want to talk to about tying everything in here in a minute. Anyway, so we start off with after reflecting on the parallels and seeing the path I took to parallels, I see where I fell victim to the fear I felt and let it get the best of me for over a year. So this is me talking about deja vu, me being like, okay. So after reflecting on the parallels where I see like, okay, the same thing that happened with Claire is the same thing that happened with Ivy. Claire was a hotter version of Ivy. Putting them two and two together, I'm like, oh, okay, clearly this is what's going on. And both of those paths took me to a pair of hells, basically meaning like to a place where I was not happy. Now I can see where I fell victim to the fear I felt, talking about that fear. In like BPD, it's very common to fall into a fear of abandonment. So me being afraid of them leaving me, being afraid of them not being interested in me, that's a very common thing to deal with BPD. And I let that get the best of me for over a year at this point, because this was really written. It takes place about December-ish of, yeah, December, Christmas time of 2021. So at this point, I'd talked to Ivy for on and off for over a year. It started in September of 2020, right out of COVID. And, I was finally getting it. I was finally getting the hang of everything and understanding what was going on. Now, another thing that had happened at this time was, like I said, Astro World Fest. And I still had Ivy on Snapchat, even though I didn't talk to her. And like I tried to move on. I think I'd added her back or something at some point. Just you do stupid shit some days, and I was still kind of struggling with moving on. And I had posted something about I burned my finals when that happened, and she hit me up about that. And when she hit me up about that, and then she also hit me up about something else where I'd posted on there saying I was getting off social media and taking a break for a while. And it that kind of sparked a little bit of hope in a way in me. Uh, it also kind of sparked a little bit of like weird. It was really weird for me because on one hand, I'd spent so long chasing after this girl, and here I am now. In a weird way, she's the one hitting me up. She's the one chasing after me, depending on how you look at it. And I finally get that message. I've been waiting for all this time back when I wanted you more than I wanted to die. That shit kept me alive. Pretty much saying like, she finally hit me up. Like, I waited so long. I mean, at one point in my life, like, she was one of the things that was keeping me alive. Like, I had family, and yes, I loved them, and I kind of took them for granted. But I knew back then, I was like, for me, it just wasn't enough, and I wanted off myself. I had nothing to live for except for at the time, the thought that this girl was going to come back around and pick me up, and that was literally what I was living for at that time. And it was fucking miserable the way to live. Um, but now this closure's coming to the start of the story, poetically purged through all these rhymes. This is a little bit different a conversation. So we had talked for like not like talked, but you know what I mean, like just conversed. And when we were conversing, it was pretty much about it was around Christmas Eve, I think it was over at my dad's house, and she was messaging me. And I remember we were talking, and she didn't reply for a little while. And one of the things back in the other video, I talked about hitting her up and just being 100% honest with her and being like, look, like, I was gonna off myself, and you were a lot of the reason why I didn't. And you put like I think I messaged her and said something like, you pushed me to kind of grow, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And it was never on bad terms or anything. Hell, I just saw her like a week or two ago, and there was no bad blood there. But you know, she had one of the things I talked about was like, I put in all this effort, I put in all this effort, and I'd never get a reply, or whenever I do, it's like days later, and I'm like, it's kind of bullshit. And she told me she was busy, had a life, whatever. I get that, fine. But she had hit me up one day, and she had taken a while to reply, and she's like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean to do that. And I literally told her, I was like, it's okay, like I'm past that at this point in my life. I'm over this. Because by now I had realized that it just wasn't good for me. I had to move on. Uh, it was time for me to let this go. It was a long time for that to happen. And while yes, I was still entertaining it and talking to her, I knew that it was over. Like I knew everything was done, and I was just trying to have conversation with her. And she hit me up, apologized about how slow she replied, and I sat there and I was just like, for the first time in my life, I'd sat there and I was like, damn, like someone listened to me. Someone actually took what I had to say as any value and made a change. And I was like, damn, is this love? Like, is this fate? Like, is this gonna come back around? And I kind of realized, I was like, no, it's not. Like, it's done. Like, I've moved on. You didn't want me. It's cool. Like, it's time for me to move on though. And I'd already come to terms with the truth, no longer gonna ride the masquerade of the lies generated by my motherfucking brain. But what if this is too good for someone like me? This is me pretty much saying, like, I've realized that this is done. I'm over this. I am mentally moving on. It has officially happened yet? No, it hasn't. Like, I'm obviously still entertaining this in a way, but I understand where I'm at with this. And, what if this is too good for someone like me? Is pretty much me saying, like, what if someone communicating like this? What if this healthier version of things is too good for me? Like, it's still kind of asking those questions of where does my self-worth kind of stand here. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on with the song.
All around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. Mirrors all around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. And after that night, I would never be the same. Once it all came full circle and I digested all that pain, I was forced to reflect, now I saw it all the same. Someone's got some healing to do, and I think I know his name. It's crazy how I lay there only to contemplate on my dad's couch upstairs. What is love and hate? A question with an answer that's staying out of my way. Do I know what love is? No, I do not. A brutally honest answer hidden deep within myself, behind the truth that I could not bring myself to see. Cause for so long my heart, man, it bleeds, sipping on reality, circling around epiphanies I've already discovered, but I'm having trouble with implementing. Maybe it's me who really needs a self-healing routine, but where do I start? Which way do I go? Only one answer, I gotta face the music and look deep inside my soul.
All right. And after that night, I would never be the same once it all came full circle and I digested all that pain. So, like I said, so I was over at my dad's house on Christmas Eve, and that was when she had messaged me telling me, like, oh, she's sorry about all this other shit. And I was just like, it's cool. Like, but for me, that was kind of my full circle moment where it was like, I got what I wanted out of the situation. I got uh, heard him just give a shit about anything with me, to be honest with you. And that's how desperate I was at the time. And I realized I was like, I've moved past this now. Like, I've digested the pain, I digested it. I learned that my self worth, I deserve better than that, and to be treated like that. Um, at that time, I was forced to reflect. Now I saw it all the same. Like I've got some healing to do. Someone's got some healing to do. I think I know his name. It's me. I've got the work to do. I'm the one that is figuring this out. Like I see it now for what it is. And it took going through all of that pain to kind of figure that out. Um, it's crazy how I lay there only to contemplate on my dad's couch upstairs. What is love and hate? A question with an answer that's staying on my way. Do I know what love is? No, I do not. Brutally honest answer hidden deep within myself, behind the truth that I could not bring myself to see. So this right here is me telling that story more or less. And it's like, okay, so I was on my dad's couch upstairs. I was sitting there thinking like, dude, I don't even know what love is. Like this girl, I waited so long and was obsessed with her. And now here she is. And she's messaging me. She's putting an effort. And I'm just like, I've moved on from this. And it's like, I'm like, is this love? Is that love? Like, what is? I have no idea. And even to this day, I struggle with that question. Like, it's kind of a hard thing to do with BPD because you feel things on such a deep level that love and hate can feel so, they are opposite extremes, which is that concept of duality is very prevalent amongst all the songs in this album. And that was one thing, is like that love and hate, and like that question with an answer standing on my way is like, I really don't know. And it sucked because, I'm starting to see all of this. I'm starting to see it all clearly. And um, it was a brutally honest answer. Like I had to really get real with myself and understand that, yeah, I don't, I thought that I did, but I have no idea. And those answers were deep within me. It was just deep within myself. That's it. Um, and for a long time, took, for a long time, I struggled with it because I couldn't bring myself to see it. I couldn't, it was always there. I just couldn't and wouldn't acknowledge that that's what the case was that I was the one that was fucked up. Um, for so long, my heart, man, it bleeds, sipping on reality, circling around epiphanies I've already discovered, but I'm having trouble with implementing. Maybe it's me who really needs a simple self-healing routine. So I'm really proud of the words that I used here. Like the vocabulary in the song is just incredible. Um, but the truth that I can't bring myself to see is the fact that I don't understand what love is. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that love has been registered in my brain as kind of like a negative emotion due to the trauma from my childhood. And this is kind of cheesy, but I put sipping on reality, like sipping. My buddy told me a joke back when I was like 14 or 15, and it was like, "What's the hardest tea to swallow?" Reality. That's literally where that line came from. It was just a stupid meme that I found when I was younger, but I thought that it was cool because it rhymed too. So I was like, fuck it, we'll roll with it. I'm pretty much saying like, I'm sipping on it, like I'm slowly digesting it. I'm circling around these epiphanies that I've already discovered. Like I've always known them, but I'm getting in touch with the truth. There's no more facade. There's no more bullshit behind it. It's just, I'm understanding now what's going on here, what I'm dealing with, what I really think, how I really feel, who I really am. And those are all things that had kind of been lost in the fog in a way. So, yeah. And I think that a lot of it too was like, I knew where I needed to go. I knew I needed to move on. I knew I needed to love myself, respect myself, do better for myself. And it's just, unfortunately, there is the understanding, which is the truth aspect of it, and then the implementation, which is the work aspect of it, in order to get any progress. I talked about that in the, you'll see this video when it comes out, but the Love Myself lyric video. I talk about it a lot there, where that equation is pretty much the equation of growth. And that trouble with implementing it is the second step. And it's a very hard step because it takes a daily commitment to do. And I'm realizing now that like the person who's keeping me from doing that is me. So maybe it is me that needs that self-healing routine. Maybe I'm the one that needs to fix all of this shit. Maybe I'm the one that needs to take this accountability, wear that on my back, wear that on my chest, and just 10 toes down, head head down, keep trucking on ahead, and keep on moving through this because I'm the one that's got to put in the work to get myself better and in a better place. But where do I start? Which way do I go? Only one answer. I got to face the music and look deep inside my soul. This is me basically being like, I think that a lot of people really struggle with this question, to be honest with you. Is like, okay, great, I've got these goals, I know what I want to do, but where do I start? Like, where do I go? That's the hardest part, is the start. And then you got to keep on going from there and building from there. But when you're the problem, it's like, okay, but where do I start with this problem? Because you're sitting there and you're like, I've got X, Y, Z, A, B, C, G, F, D, all this other shit. Like, you have so many different problems and it can be very overwhelming because you're sitting there staring up Mount Everest and you're standing at the bottom and you're just like, fuck, man, like, I've got a long way to climb. But really, the only way to get up the top of Mount Everest is to take a step, and then take a second step, and take a third step, climb up a couple rocks, take another step. Like, that's just the reality of it. And it can be very overwhelming when you're sitting there looking at the peak rather than looking at the next step that you're taking and living in that moment of what you can do right now to reach that goal. And I think that for me, it was, I had to kind of look deep inside my soul and face myself and be like, all right, where are these things at? Where can I improve at? Where can I do better for myself at? And what are we doing? Pretty much is like, where are we going here? What is this next step? What is this healing process, and how does this look for someone like me? Because now I'm at the end of the cycle. Now I'm at the end, and I don't want the cycle to continue. I'm done with this. I'm done chasing after people who don't give a fuck about me. I'm done giving all this time and energy towards people who are not going to reciprocate it. And I need to invest in myself with self-respect, because I can't expect people to respect me and treat me with respect if I don't respect me. So, that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump on into the next verse.
All around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. Mirrors all around me, the answer couldn't be clearer. In order to heal my surroundings, I gotta start with the man in the mirror. Insane, I feel like I knew it all along. Almost turned Cobain, blowing my head all over the fucking wall. I ran so far, yet I ran nowhere at all. Cause the truth that I sought was in my soul just down the hall. And to that girl that caused me to start this healing journey, just know I'm forever grateful, and I'll pray you'll never end up hurting the way that I did. But you were a part of my journey, and I wish you the best in life, in love, and in your career from which I stole. Just know you were the reason I was able to go and free my soul. I've got no hard feelings, I'm just grateful that I learned to break through that glass ceiling I've placed on myself since birth. I wish I could have been to you what I thought you were gonna be to me, but after it all I realized it just wasn't meant to be. Stuck on the idea of who I thought you up to be led me to go and chase my dreams, and if it wasn't for you I would never fully believe in myself, and now my confidence comes from me. But even though I fell in love through a fucking phone screen, I know that it was love because it's what ended up saving me.
Ah, fuck. Go back.
Mirrors all around.
So, this verse is deep, and this is probably one of, if not my favorite verses on the entire album. So it starts off with insane. I feel like I knew it all along. Almost turned Cobain, blowing my head all over the fucking wall. That is an insane way to come in on a verse. So this, what I really like about this verse here, and this is what I was talking about earlier. So if you notice, basically what I use in place of a snare here is this thing that's like, ching. I don't know. It sounds like a little bell in a way, not like a ring bell, but like a, well, it's like a tambourine. It's the little thing that like is in a circle and it's got like all the little bells on it. And you just like and shake it, and yeah, it kind of sounds like that. But I talked about it in the what song is it? Losing Myself in NOLA, I think. I think that's what song it is. I could be wrong. No, it's definitely Lose Myself in Nola. There's something that I use in there that sounds like the Tidal bell from um is it that song? Hmm. I'm not sure. It's one of the songs around that time though. But anyway, I use a title bell on one of the earlier songs, and that song, I don't use that, but I use something that sounds very similar to it. And it's because like around that time I was playing Pokemon Heart Gold and the title bell, that was where I was at in the game. I was just using that kind of to call back. It is not the actual sample of it, but you sounds similar enough to where like it got the point across. Um, but yeah, that is an earlier element used in the album, and that kind of like foreshadows. I use it kind of to foreshadow everything with Claire. Um, and then this Cobain line, blow my head over the fucking wall, and then the gunshot. That kind of is reminiscent of what went on in God Knows. Scroll down to the glass ceiling bar here. Um, that's kind of reminiscent of going all the way back to Lovesick. And all of this is showing that cycle continuing. Cycle continues. And the whole song is talking a, pretty much about the root of this cycle that I found myself in between Ivy, between Claire, in Deja Vu. And really what I'm trying to get at is, you know, what I really like about this song, what I really like about Better Off Alone is this central theme of accountability and understanding that I've got to be the one to fix this for myself. And it this song pretty much takes all the elements of all the other songs and just glues them all together and puts it all together. This is the end of that cycle. And I did the funny thing is that when I did the reaction video before, I didn't even realize that I did this. I had no idea. This wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened. But I'm looking at it now and I'm listening to it, and it's literally what I see with it. I'm like, wow, this is insane. Like all of these elements kind of come in and come together. And I think that's why my appreciation for this song has been so high is just because all of these elements are glued together, and it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. It's amazing. Um, I ran so far, yet I ran nowhere at all because the truth that I sought was in my soldiers down the hall. That's pretty much me saying like, I did so much running from this problem, running from myself. I tried to hide it and cover it up with the girls. I tried to hide it and cover it up with the partying, with the drugs, with everything else other than fixing it my damn self and looking at myself in the mirror and dealing with it and coping with it. And the truth that I sought, everything that I wanted, all which was just the truth, and to move on and to do better for myself. All of that was just in my soul, man. It was literally right down the hall. And this was kind of like drawing an analogy to the NF Mansion song, where it talks about the mind as a house and as a mansion. And it's basically me just saying that like it was there this whole time. I just neglected it and ran from it because it was uncomfortable. And that uncomfortability is what has been keeping me and what had been keeping me stagnant and what was keeping me from dealing with it, when I think keeps so many people from dealing with this kind of stuff, because it is uncomfortable to talk about. It is uncomfortable to get into. It's not an easy process. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. Um, but yeah, but I think that really what I realize here is that the next step for me is letting it go and learning how to be okay with that. And I think part of that, and really the start of that, was me understanding that this is no longer serving me. I am no longer interested in Ivy. This is done and over with. Ivy was the one that hit me up earlier, by the way. Um, this was done and over with. And I had understood that. And this was me trying to be positive and trying to be not toxic in the situation, because I feel like so many people, whenever they get out of something like this, or just a relationship or anything, they're so quick to jump on the fuck this person. I hope that they rot in hell. I hope they never find somebody that loves them. I hope they never, ever come across someone who wants to treat them right. I hope they get treated like shit for the rest of their life because they treated me like shit, or something happened and I'm mad at them. No, like, it is okay to go your separate ways. It's a part of life. It's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to outgrow things and outgrow yourself even. And for me, I feel like one of the first steps that I was struggling trying to find was wishing her the best. And it was this right here is me talking about it and talking about her and saying, and to that girl that caused me to start this healing journey, just know I'm forever grateful and I pray you'll never end up hurting the way that I did, but you were a part of my journey and I wish you the best in life, in love, and in your career from which I stole. Just know you were the reason I was able to go and free my soul. I've got no hard feelings, but I'm grateful that I learned to break through that glass ceiling I placed on myself since birth. This is me closing this chapter, closing this shit with her. Not actually, I mean, not actually, but you get what I mean. Like, I didn't actually say any of this to her, but me to, I guess, the universe being like, all right, this is it. Um, and even to this day, like, I am grateful. And I really, I went to a party for my buddy. He's getting married. He got married like last Saturday. And at the time of filming, man, I saw her there and she was with a dude. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, they had some good chemistry together. They were having fun. Hell, she went inside to go and take a break or go to the bathroom or something like that. And hell, I ended up playing beer pong with this dude. I was on his team for a little while. Like, there are no hard feelings. There was no bad blood. A year, two, my bad, 2 years ago now, I I didn't mean to do this. It wasn't like I saw her and was like, I'm doing this for her. But I don't regret doing it. I got her, I was working for Live Nation and I got her a pit wristband from somebody because we had extras and we were giving them out. And I was like, I asked we give them out to them and I scored it for them. I don't regret that. I'm happy that I did that because I don't want there to be bad blood or hard feelings. Like, that's not the way that I roll. I don't want to wish bad. I want you to be happy and find someone. I'm glad that it seems like you have. Um, you were part of my journey. Like, if it wasn't for that and what I went through, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. And I'm incredibly grateful for that because while it was painful, while it was a lot for me to deal with, and I'm sure a lot for you to deal with dealing with my ass, it really showed me that I don't know. It kind of it showed me who I was and who I wanted to be, and it got me on the right path. I feel is what I'm trying to get at. Um, anyway, I wish you the best in life and love and in your career from which I stole. This is me kind of going back to the uh, I think it's in God Knows where I mentioned getting into music, and she was a lot of the reason why. I thought that it was the coolest thing in the world, and you know, she still does it to my knowledge, and I wish her the best in all of that. Like, I hope that she finds some dude that she can be with forever and will treat her right because it's what she told me she wanted. Um, I hope that in life she ends up with an amazing life and a great career. I hope that she ends up fulfilling her dreams of becoming a musician. I think that's awesome. I really hope that she ends up doing that. And me admitting like that's where I stole it from. Just know the reason I was able to go and free my soul. Me basically being like, you know, I I busted like I've busted my ass now, and I have an outlet to let all of the shit inside of me go and handle it and put it somewhere productive. And it's freeing. It really is. Whenever I sit down to make music, I always feel so much better when I'm done. And it's so nice when you live with something like borderline personality disorder, where it is a lot to deal with. And having that thing that can alleviate that pain and the struggle is just so nice. I'm so glad that I went through this so that I could find something like that. I've got no hard feelings. I'm just grateful that I learned to break through that glass ceiling I've placed on myself since birth. This is me pretty much talking about the fact that for my entire life, I have underestimated anything that I'm able to do. And it's really weird because I feel like a lot of people go through life and they have this chip on their shoulder of like, so and so said they can't do this. So and so doesn't believe in me. So I got to go prove them wrong. For me, it was a lot of the opposite. It was everyone saw me as this bright kid who was going to go do big things. And I had to constantly live up to that pressure. And that pressure, along with a lot of childhood trauma, burnt me out. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I'd given up. And I'd kind of placed that glass ceiling on myself where it was like, I didn't believe in me. And that's a whole different struggle. When other people don't believe in me, great. I can believe in me and push through and, move on past that and use that as fuel to prove them wrong. But when you don't believe in you, when I don't believe in me, that's a whole different battle to have to face, man. And I got to break through that. And this is that glass breaking going all the way back down to Lovesick, where it's like, it's wrapping all of this up. This is like, this is the lessons learned. This is moving on. This is breaking that cycle. You're breaking the glass. You're breaking the cycle. All this shit's coming to an end. And it's me spilling like my afterthoughts, my full, like, this is the end kind of vibes with it, where it's like, I wish I could have been to you what I thought you were going to be to me. Meaning, like, I wish I could have fixed you. I wish I could have helped you, healed you, and been that forever partner that I thought you were going to be for me. But after all, I realized it just wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. Like, it's okay that this faded away into nothing. That's fine. I was stuck on the idea of who I thought you up to be, me thinking that you were this perfect partner who's going to come along and fix me and, be that forever thing that I wanted and be that person who's going to tolerate me and deal with me no matter what shit I end up bringing to the table. And I was bringing a lot of shit at the time, a lot of baggage, and it was me that had to learn how to deal with that. Otherwise, I would have ended up codependent. And all of that healing led me to go and chase my dreams. And if it wasn't for you, I would never fully believe in myself. And now I'm pretty much saying, like, and now my confidence comes from me. Like, this is weird. This is new. Like, I've made so much progress. I'm doing so much better because of all of this. I've learned so much because of all of this. And, even though I fell in love through a fucking phone screen, I know that it was love because it's what ended up saving me. Like, go all the way back to the verse where I talked about, back when I wanted you more than I wanted you to die. That shit kept me alive. Like, this is what ended up saving me, was getting punched in the mouth by a girl who didn't want me, because in all honesty, looking back at it, I was a fucking loser. Like, I didn't have a job. I didn't go to school. I didn't want to further any education. I didn't want to do anything other than sit around, get high, and listen to music and play video games. That was it. I was a fucking loser. And, I fell in love through a fucking phone screen. I didn't know this girl. And yeah, it's actually really funny because no one would ever know this unless I actually said this, because I haven't leaked this information to anything. But the reason I put that line in there is because there was a song that I was going to make that was going to be on the album called Phone Screens. It never made it anything past like 2, 3 lines of dialogue that were written, but it was one of the first things that I wrote, and I was like, yeah, it's fire. I'm definitely going to use this. And like, if this does anything, it came around the same time that like Heal was wrote, or like Lovesick was written. Wow, grammar bad. Um, but yeah, that's why I threw that in there, was 'cause it was kind of a callback to that song, because that song never made it, but I wanted to kind of throw the concept of it out there, kind of as like wrapping all of this up as well. Um, but yeah, I end it with like, I know it was love because one ended up saving me. Like, the whole phrase like love will save us all, that kind of stuff. Like, I think in hindsight it was probably more limerence, like in a unhealthy obsession with an idea of something. But and that idea of something was her. But through me pedestalizing her and dealing with myself in the process, that's what ended up saving me. It was the kick in the ass that I needed. It was the fire lit under my seat that I needed in order to get me up and going, and to get me on a path of self improvement, self love, and finally being able to live up to my own potential. Yeah. And then after this is also one of the first things that I had ever recorded. It's me. This is also kind of poetic too, because it's me flipping through my anatomy textbook that I'm recording when the book pages go, they flutter, and then you hear it slam shut. That's symbolic because it's me closing the chapter. It's me closing the book, closing the, uh, like, ending the story. And I'm doing it with my anatomy textbook, which is what I walked away from in order to get here. And I end up reversing it, like it's opening back up, and I say, "Oh fuck, go back." And that's because in the next song, whatever, it ends up, it's me back on my bullshit, and kind of diving deeper into the line that I talk about having trouble with implementing this problem, having trouble with implementing the work after the realization. So yeah, that is Man in the Mirror. This one, Better Off Alone, and Love Myself, I think, are my 3 favorites on this album after listening to it all the way through again. So yeah, if you've watched it this far, thank you. Um, that really does mean a lot. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, all that other shit. Share it with a buddy. Make fun of me. Tell me about a story that you relate to. I don't really care, but I do care. But you get what I mean. Like, just let me know. I appreciate any engagement that I can get. Look forward to looking back on this at some point and being like, "Damn, man, this is where we came from." So, anyway, it's been real. This is the last one that I'm recording of one of these. Obviously, there's other ones that are gonna be coming out afterwards, but had to go back and redo this one. So, yeah, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care and peace out.
Mirrors all around me. The answer couldn't